Good morning. It's Linda. I promised my nieces that I would do a video of when I make banana pudding. Well, I thought I'd just combine it with one that I've not ever done and might help other people, but I'm making Thanksgiving dinner this morning. It's the Saturday before. Um, it doesn't matter to us what day we have it on, just as long as we get together as a family. And but before we go to do all that, I just wanted to talk about the elephant in the room that comes around, hangs around, but it's right in our face this time of the year with all the holidays. And that's dealing with the absence of our loved ones. I'm not ashamed of my tears. It's part of the healing. And I could stop this and just cry, but it doesn't matter. I may cry the rest of the day. But just since October, my twin sister passed away. Tim Osley, Charlene Prince, Terry Curry, and Glenn Sheffield. Now, Terry and Glenn just passed away this week, one day after the other. Then we've also had in our community Joan Lynch, Gordon Powell, Barbara Davis, Michael Hayes, Jimmy Jackson, Jerry Kirksey, Merlin, his son-in-law, and Virginia Copeland. These are just a few of just this past year. I am sure I've probably forgotten some of the others. But they're dear friends, they're families. We love them dearly, and we miss them. But I will not speak their name because that doesn't do honor to them. And I know that if I was one of those that was passed, that gone on to heaven, I would not want my family to just not do these holidays or to hide away in grief. Go ahead and let them tears flow, but live on. And so that's why I'm recording this. And that's why I'm going ahead and doing my family meals. Because we do have to live on. So this is in honor of all of those who have passed, especially my twin sister. And so those of you who have never cooked for a large meal, and even for Christmas or Thanksgiving, you want to start with writing down what you're going to make. You know, mine's turkey and dressing, mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, purple whole peas, sweet potatoes, rolls. Jesse's doing those. Peanut butter pie, banana pudding, and lemon squares. And mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese. And then you have to look and see what takes the longest. Because for the dressing, let me show you the dressing. I made the cornbread yesterday. These biscuits were made a few days ago. Whoops. I put them in the refrigerator to go in there. So the turkey, I have a really good recipe, and I just put it on this morning in a roaster. But I put it out to thaw last Sunday. You want it to thaw completely, so put it out a week before you're going to, especially if it's a big one. If it's a little one, not. But I got a 16-pounder. So when I got up last night, let me show you this. Note to self, don't put stuff in. There you go. I'll have to fix that. But last night, this is cranberry relish. And so I chopped up the cranberries, put a cup of sugar, and that had to set overnight. So look at your recipes to see if some of them have to set overnight, if some of them have to be done a certain time or a certain way. Let me put this back in the refrigerator. Then, that was last night. So as soon as I got up this morning, I went ahead and finished the rest of the cranberry relish because I knew that had to set because it has jello in it. Then the next two I did was the peanut butter pie because that has to set in the refrigerator. It's mostly done, but it's helped. So my peanut butter pie, and I did not make it, I didn't record this. And just go ahead and don't be upset. There's always going to be a mishap in any time you cook, but especially if you're cooking for a large meal and a special meal. Just go home. We'll laugh about that later. Alright, so there's my peanut butter pies. They had to sit, they got to sit and chill. And so then I look and I see, here's my list, and then I've got that marked off, peanut butter pies. Oh, I put my sweet potatoes in a crock pot. I do as much as I can in a crock pot on any days, but especially a big day. My peas are already done. All I have to do is warm them up and season them because I pressure cooked them. Green beans I put on last night. They were done. They were in the pressure cooker, but I like to cook them overnight with the onions and whatever else I want to throw in there. So they're done. They're in the crock pot. Turkeys are in. Dressing's going to be done here in a minute. After I do, I'm going to let the dressing set for a minute, and I'm going to start on the lemon squares. But if you got people coming, like Jesse's going to do the rolls, give them something to make if they want to. If they have something that they like to make that's special, let them bring it. If they don't, that's okay. I mean, some of us like to do a lot of cooking, some of us don't, So these holidays are customized by each of you. You do it in the way that doesn't bring you stress, because that's not what this is all about. It's about just getting together. So, I heard on the radio that some people start a month ahead to prepare. That's them. Me, it's about the week before. So anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and get my lemon squares, and I'll show you how I'm doing those. And of course, get your recipes out so that you know. But again, look at these recipes. Everything you want to make, look at them ahead of time. Even if you've made them a million times, go ahead and remind yourself, because that one thing, like the cranberry relish, if I hadn't have done it last night, I couldn't have had it today. So just remind yourself. So here's Jessie's recipe for, she loves lemon squares. Joshua likes peanut butter pie, and I think Katie does too. And Amanda likes banana pudding. Tim likes banana pudding. Not sure what Brianna, because I try to remember and ask people what their favorite dishes are. And if I've got it, I'll make it. A lot of them like the macaroni and cheese, so that's why I'm making that. So anyways, you've got the crust. And let me just go ahead and get started on that instead of just yakking. And let me say this. Wash your dishes as you go. Don't just keep piling them, because you'll have to reuse a lot of them. But wash them as you go. That way you don't have a mountain full. And if you've got someone that's lovely enough to wash dishes after you eat, you don't want to leave them with a mountain that takes an hour or two to wash. So wash as you go, and you're not and put up stuff as you go, so that you don't have my kitchen's full, and I've just now spent 10 minutes putting things up. So anyways, here we go. We got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I like it when they tell me if it's all-purpose. If they just say flour, I have no idea. It could be all-purpose, or it could be self-rising. But I think the reason this is all-purpose is because you don't want it to rise too much. It's going to be a crust. So, some people sift their flours. Some people don't. I don't. I will sift my powdered sugar because it's clumpy. So anyway, there's 2 cups of flour. 1 cup of softened butter. And this, I've set this out. If I forget, then I'll put it in the microwave. Just for 10 seconds. You don't want it melted. Some things call for melted butter, but this doesn't. So, okay, so that's a 1/2 cup. 1 stick is a 1/2 cup, but if you forget, you can look at it on the side. And play music, and yeah, when we go through our grieving processes, and each one of us are different, Now, Luna, you cannot get up there you can't get up. So, she usually doesn't do that. I don't know why she wanted to be in the camera, I guess. But back to our grieving process. We're all different. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. And nobody's grief is greater than another. We're just different. Like me and my sisters, you know, I'm grieving Brenda because she's my twin. My other sisters are grieving her because they're her sister. There's a difference in it, but it's not more. Their grief is not anything less than mine. So, but you have to do what you have to learn how you deal with it. And I'm taking a pastry cutter. Jessie got these for me because my hands get kind of tired. And so you're just cutting the butter into the flour. Almost like a pie crust. It's kind of what you want. Now, I'm not really good at pie crust, but you know, that's because I don't try. If you don't try, you're not going to learn how to do anything. And believe me, when I first got married almost 43 years ago, Luna, get off the table, excuse me. Now you're going to make me wash my hands again. Get in. Good grief. Excuse me, y'all. Alright. Now, where was I? I have no idea where I was. Oh. Nope. I have no idea what I was talking about. I guess I was talking about the process of grief. Oh no, I was talking about if you don't try something, you're not going to learn. When I first got married, which I helped Mama in the kitchen when we had big meals all the time. But so I had a little bit of but I got me a cookbook, you know, because when your mama's not there and your sisters aren't there, you don't have anybody to ask you how to cook something. You can ask them how to cook something, then you go to a cookbook. But I get the old, you know, the cookbooks that grandmas make and you know, some of these old community cookbooks. Or if somebody, I think one of them was the school, all the mothers got together. So I buy those because those fancy ones, you may eat fancy food, but I'm in the country and I don't even know what some of those ingredients are. So get your cookbook that you know what the ingredients are. But like I said, I had to try a lot of stuff. I had Aunt Beatty Looper that I wanted to fashion my cooking abilities to. Been married 42 years and I'm nowhere near what she was, but that's okay. Have someone that you want a goal that you're going to, and just keep trying. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. This is like pie crust, okay? So, read your instructions as you would for a pie crust, okay? Then you, I forgot the powdered sugar. That's why you always have to look at your, a half a cup of powdered sugar. And right. Again, I'm going to sift my powdered sugar because it gets lumpy. And oh, let's see here. Where's my half a cup? They're washed, but they weren't dry. Oh, that's great. So, you getting this? Oh yeah, that's just not working. Okay. Half a cup-ish, it doesn't matter. You want at least a half a cup, but if it goes over, it's okay. You don't want it to go over too much. But I love lemon squares too. They're very, very good. But the best way to do it for me is to do it when I have a lot of people, and that way I'm not eating them all myself, because that's not healthy. And of course, I'll send home a lot of stuff because I don't want it left here because I will eat it. Okay, so you got flour, butter, powdered sugar. All right, so you're mixing this up and we're going to put it in a pan. Pat into a pan which has been greased and floured. Okay, so got that mixed up. Now my pan is going to be, I think I'm going to do this one because I could do it in the oven, but I'm not going to use I'm not using my Easy Bake, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And, so there's your grease. Here's your flour. And you just shake it around. They even have this stuff that's got flour in it. Don't ask me how it comes out of the can, but I guess it does. But I just do it this way. Alright. So then it says, put that in here and pat it down. So, can y'all see that? Y'all can't see that. Okay. But I will cut y'all on and off because there's no sense in y'all watching me put stuff up. You know, that's pretty thick. I may have to go to another pan. No, I think it'll be fine. I haven't cooked it in this pan, and that may be a problem. Because if you're doing a big meal, you want to do it in something you're used to and you've made in. You really don't want to try something new like I'm doing on a big meal because on special occasions, you know. You do that for potluck. If you want to make something you've never made before, take it to potluck. Let your church family be the guinea pigs. Because if they like it, that's good. If they don't, you just give it to the dogs. Whatever, you know. But, and if it's not that important of a dish, you could try something new on your. But I like to keep my meals as stress-free as possible. You know. Here in a little bit, I'll get Katie to come down here and vacuum. And when I run out of time, I'll tell you my secret. I take stuff in the kitchen, in the living room where I know people are going to be, and I throw them in my junk room until I can get back to it. Okay, so there's that. Let me make sure. Mix ingredients, pat into a pan, bake 350 for 15 minutes. Okay. I like my Easy Bake Oven because it is, it's a timer. Okay, and it says, as the crust is making, then you make your filling. So, let me stop. Let me pause you for a minute. Let me wash out this pan. Okay, I'm back. So this says to do 4 eggs, slightly beaten. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Can y'all see that? Okay, let me just get you closer. Okay. So, there's my 4 eggs. Let me rinse the yolk off. I don't like sticky hands. Okay. And it says slightly beaten, so you're just going to beat it slightly, you know. I just get it enough to get the whites incorporated. Then it's calling for 2 cups of sugar. So here's my sugar. 1. Check it again, because, you know. 2 cups of sugar. And it says 4 tablespoons of flour. So let me get my tablespoon. Four tablespoons of flour. use the flat part of your knife, not this part, but the flat part. Ah, baloney, that's sugar. 1, make sure you put it in the right container. 2, 3, and 4. And speaking of all this, and speaking of groove, get online and see just read up on groove, because like what I did, you know, your mind's not as thinking as much, but you know, you had to give yourself a lot of slack. And then this calls for 6 tablespoons of lemon juice. I like lemon, so I put a 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Shake it up. I get this at Sam's. That's the only place I can find it this big, because I make a lot of lemonade, since Tim is can't have a lot of tea because of his health issues, and so I've had to learn. Let me show you what's on top of my refrigerator. I've had to learn how to make tea taste different. So I put ginger ale and soda pop. We don't drink a lot of soda pop, but I will put, you know, some in the lemonade to make it taste different. I've even put the little packets of Kool-Aid in there. Anything to make it look a little, taste a little different. So this, okay. So you're just stirring this up. That's it. And now you wait till you wait until your crust has been cooking for 15 minutes, and then you'll pour it on top, and you bake it for another 25 minutes. Now this has a recipe for for icing. I don't put icing on it. To me, it's sweet enough as it is, and when you can cut calories somewhere else, then do it, because it's just healthier for you. So let me pause you again. Throw these eggshells away, if I can. Okay, I'm back. I've got celery and onions in here. My crew do not like celery, and some of them don't like onions. But cornbread dressing is not cornbread dressing without those. So you chop them up really fine. They don't know. There are ways to get to certain foods into your family that they don't like to eat. But don't tell my crew. See, by the time I get everything else in there, they're not going to know. And once it cooks down, they won't taste the texture. So, now let me turn you over here for my dressing. I have no recipe for my dressing. It's just, I just do it. So, like I said, the cornbread. Now, I put onions and celery in the cornbread. That's another way you can do it. But I still like the fresh onions and cornbread. So you got you got a pan of cornbread. You got whatever amount of biscuits that you have. You got onions and celery in there. And then you've got this is salt and pepper that I mix up. I keep it on the stove so that I can lightly season. I know you think, well, that's not lightly, but for dressing, you gotta have that. And then I've got my sage. What did I do with my sage? It's the sage that I grew. It's rubbed sage. I dehydrated it. Now, usually, I like a lot of sage. Yeah, that's not going to work. But you just kind of have to taste it. There's always more than one way to get into a jar. Okay. And then you have your... I took the giblets and stuff, and I don't like giblets. gravy, but I'll take it and make it for the chicken broth. Then you get a big spoon, which I didn't get. Where is it? And usually I would just crumble it up with my hands, but since I'm on TV or on recording, I won't do that. And did you hear my ringer ding? It means it's been 15 minutes and I can put the egg stuff on there here in a minute. Now, like I said, there's cornbread, onions, celery. Those are musts. Biscuits. If you don't have biscuits, you can put dry bread, white bread, sandwich bread, any kind of bread. Then your sage, your salt and pepper, and your chicken broth. And it just depends on, and then I'll put an egg or two in here. And some people will put pieces of chicken meat, because they've boiled their chicken. I'm not going to put the giblets in there. Yuck, I don't like liver. So, dogs get that. I don't know if anybody in the family likes it because I don't fix it. They'll have to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken if they want liver because I don't fix it. So, anyways, let me go ahead and get, since this ding or dong or whatever the phrase is, let me... See, that's nicely brown. I hope that's not too brown. Usually I don't let it get that brown, but it's okay. And you know what? If you mess up something so bad, 100 years from now, nobody's going to remember, so don't fret over it. You don't want that because I'll taste onion. And then I just mix this up a little bit more. And I just pour it over the top of it. Now, I will be very careful about this one because I don't like, you want it to cook long enough to set. Because you don't want to cook it and it's running. So, and every oven, stove, everything is different. So, you have to just figure out. And I think that's going to be just right as far as the size there. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in. Where it says 25, I'm going to set it for 15 and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's back in there. And so now I'm back to the dressing. Like I said, when you're cooking for a big meal, you're always doing something. Time management is very important. That's about as wet. You can have it as wet as you want. But by the time I add an egg in there, and now I'm going to taste it. Because you do have to taste it. I won't use this spoon again, but I may have to put some more chicken broth. Ooh, I did put too much salt in there. But I taste the sage. I can taste the sage. I can taste the salt and the pepper. Man, I don't know if I put more chicken broth, if it's got salt in it, I'm just adding to. Oh, no, I'm not going to add any more chicken broth because I've also, Mama never did this, but forgive me, Mama. Recipes are designed to tweak. I'm going to put just one in there. I might need to put two in there. But I'm also going to put cream of mushroom soup in there. And let me go get it. If I don't have cream of mushroom, if I have cream of celery or cream of chicken. So, looks like I'm going to have cream of chicken. So, cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, cream of celery, some kind of cream soup in there. I just got a recipe book from Mississippi. Let me pause it and I'll show that to you because it's really neat. Okay, I'm back. You know, this is going to be backwards, and I really don't know how to make it, but it's Deep South Staples by Robert St. John's. How to survive in a southern kitchen without a can of cream of mushroom soup. Because they've got here a recipe, mushroom, and I have no idea how to pronounce that, bashlami. That's wrong. Sauce. So that's their cream of mushroom sauce that they do. But this is an excellent cookbook. Wonderful meatloaf, just all kinds of stuff. So, anyways, but I have not made that recipe, so I don't have homemade cream of mushroom soup. This is another from Robert St. John's, and the artwork is by Wyatt Waters. They're both from Mississippi. So, these have some really nice. I got these at the thriftbook.com. Always check there for your books because they're a lot cheaper than if you buy them out and out from someplace else. And so anyways, I will try the homemade cream of mushroom soup because then you could add anything to it. That's the thing is, then you could add mushrooms to it. You could add chicken broth. So you can make it whatever kind, celery. You can make it whatever kind you want. But I do put a can of cream of mushroom soup in here. And then I just mix it up. And this is ready to go into a pan. And I'll cook it until it's set. Just kind of like the lemon curd. Yeah, you know what? I am going to put another egg. Just for the sake of it needing to set. Now this one is a fresh egg. So I'm breaking it into another container. Because fresh eggs need to be done that way. But they taste so much better. They have a better look. Thank you, Miss D. Dee Vinson's my neighbor, and she gives me her eggs. So there's that, and I'm gonna put that in a baking pan, cake pan, whatever. I've even done it in skillets, and then I'll cook it on 350 for as long as it takes to set it. I never do that. So now we've got it. We've got the turkey on. We've got sweet potatoes on. We've got the dressing ready to cook. I'll go ahead and cook it. It's 9:30. I told people 1-ish. Whatever, If we're waiting on them, I'll call them and say come early. But there's Jessica. Nobody in the family likes to be on the video, so. But anyways, I'll turn you off and I'll put this on, and I will put you back on when I go to make the banana. It's pointed this way. Oh wow. Oh, I'm back again. I don't know what these numbers are at the bottom, but anyways, I promised Tisha and Becca I would show you how to make microwave banana pudding. So there's my bowl. I have a recipe for chocolate pudding. It's the same thing as the banana pudding. You just put chocolate chips instead of bananas. So this calls for 1 cup of sugar. I double this because that doesn't make enough. So I double it. So 2 cups of sugar. And then, of course, it says 2 cups of milk, which would be 4 cups. Wait a minute. Before I do that, a 1/2 cup of flour. I like to mix my flour with my sugar. That way it's less lumpy. I don't know if that's the name word or not. But anyway, so it called for a 4, so I'm doubling it, so that's a 1/2. This is why it's so important to learn your fractions. Yes, you use it in cooking. And so you just mix the flour and the sugar together so there's no lumps. And then I'm adding, if you hear any cutting, Katie's over there cutting up potatoes for mashed potatoes. Alright, so there's 1 cup of milk. 2, 3, 4. And you cook this in the bowl that you're going to serve it in. So 1 bowl dessert. Simple. Okay, let me get my spatula. That's not a spatula, that's a whisk. Anyway, so I'm whisking this up. And getting it all nice and stirred up. Because again, you don't want lumps. Okay, now I'm going to do, the rest of it is, I've got the sugar, milk, flour. It calls for 2 egg yolks. I put 2 eggs, so which will be 4 eggs. That's a lot of eggs. But it sets up. And then some vanilla and butter. And then, of course, your cookies. So I am going to put this in the microwave. And, I don't know if you can see, I'm just going to stick it in the microwave. It's not a, and then I'll cook it on 2 minutes and stir it, and 2 minutes and stir it until it's thick. You know, you just stir it until it's thick, pudding consistency. And then I'll pause y'all so that you're not having to wait 2 minutes, and I'll get back with you. Okay, I'm back. 2 minutes is up, and you're just whisking it. You don't even have to take it out of the microwave if you can do this without it. And you're whisking it to keep it from lumping up. You just don't want lumpy pudding. Alright, 2 more minutes. I'll be right back. Maybe. Okay, this is the 4th time, so that's 8 minutes. And you can see it's, you probably can't see. You can see it's getting thicker. In fact, it's almost thick enough. But I'll put it in, and you want to get a bowl big enough that when it starts getting hot and stuff, it doesn't spill out. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on 2 more minutes. And while that's working, I wanted to show you the vanilla. This is vanilla beans that I put up in June, July, August, September, October. So it's been 5 months. 6 to a year, 6 months to a year. But anyway, so I'm going to use that for my vanilla. And then I scraped out some of the beans for the caviar, which is the seed, to see if that makes it really better. And but you have the beans you can get online. You can do, you can actually just type in vanilla beans co-op and they'll come up. But, and then you just, the one I'm a part of gives you recipes and stuff, but you put it in a jar. This is 1 ounce of beans, and then you fill it up, cover it up with vodka. That's why pure vanilla doesn't taste like the other kind. See how that's foaming up? So you want it big enough so it doesn't make a big old mess. But I'm going to say that that's going to be enough. Let's see. Yeah. And, because I still got to do the eggs, and I'll cook them in there. And I'm going to show you a trick about eggs, because if I put eggs straight into that, you're going to have cooked eggs in there. So you have to do it a certain way. And part of it, the bowl is hot. Let me get over here. Part of it, baloney. Hang on. Alright, I am back. So now you're going to take a little bit of your pudding and you're going to put it in a bowl. Okay. Then you're going to take your eggs and you're going to crack them one at a time and stir them up. Let me find, well, anyways. So you want to crack it, stir it up. this will help. I don't know what the proper cooking name is, but anyway, I just know it keeps you from having scrambled eggs. You don't want that. If you want scrambled eggs, that's for breakfast. Huh?
Called tempering.
Oh, Jessica, who is making our rolls over there, said it's called tempering. So, this calls for, like I said, it called for yolks, but I'm just doing everything. Why waste it? Nobody's ever said anything they like it, so, you know. Anyway, so you get all that mixed up. Let me add a little bit more to make it. I'll waste it. Okay. Now you're going to mix it in the bowl. I guess this is the saying about going down like a 1-egg pudding. You want to have enough eggs in there or it won't set. And then you mix this up. And I'll put it back in the microwave for a little bit, for another 2 minutes. It is the heaviest whisk. Now I'll add my vanilla at the very end, because for some reason you don't want to cook your vanilla. I'm sure there's a reason for that too. I just don't know it.
It cooks off the alcohol.
Okay, Jessica says it cooks off the alcohol, and that you don't want it to do that?
No.
Okay. So
it dilutes the flavor.
It dilutes the flavor. So, there's 2 more minutes. I'll get back with you. Okay, I'm back. So there's my, let me get my whisk. It's cooked 2 minutes. And I'm stirring it up. Get all the lumps out. Because I'm going to put some butter in there now. Everything's better with butter in it. So, open the butter. I use butter instead of margarine because butter's real. Margarine has too many additives in it. So, I don't know if it's more or less expensive. Now I want to scrape in my caviar or whatever my vanilla bean stuff, seeds. And when you watch those cooking shows, that's really something, because it puts little specks in there. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put a teaspoon. It definitely smells different than so I'm going to put a teaspoon in there. Yeah, I'll put another teaspoon in there. Yeah. Vanilla's good. So, anyways. Yep, you can actually see some, it did put some, can you see? I don't know what that is. I'll get that out there. But can you see where it, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it did turn it, it's got some little specks in there. Now, I'm going to put a dash of salt, because salt, not a lot, but salt makes, it enhances the flavor, they say. I don't know. So, a lot of things, I don't know why it's there. I just do it because it's in the recipe. Alright, now I'm going to test it. Because it just got out of the microwave. Actually, let's put a little bit more vanilla in there. Okay. That's a whole tablespoon. And the longer this vanilla sets, they say, the better it is. So, after a year, I may not have to use that much to get a good, strong vanilla taste. But I want a vanilla taste. It's vanilla pudding. A lot of times people use the banana pudding, but like I said, this is homemade. Alright, that's good. So I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. And I can put more butter in it, and I'm going to put about, I'm just going to cut these bananas into that, because like I said, this is the bowl I'm going to serve it in. That's why I'm going to let it cool a little bit. And then I'm going to put the vanilla wafers in there. Just stick them in there, stir it up. But you can also put graham crackers in here. I did that one time because I ran out and it tastes very good. So graham crackers, vanilla wafers, any kind of cookies, whatever you want. And I'm like Tisha, my niece. I like it hot. I like to eat vanilla pudding when it's warm. I don't care for it once it sits in the refrigerator. So this is not going in the refrigerator. If somebody wants it chilled, they can put it in there. But this is not going into the refrigerator. Not yet. The leftovers will, and then somebody else will eat it. Because like I said, I only eat that when it's warm. So anyways, we got, let me show you the dressing. How it came out. Dressing's done. It's done. Jesse's lemon squares are done. You can see I tasted it. That is the most hardest recipe as far as getting it just right, because you don't want the crust to be too brown. You want the lemon curd to be just right. That's okay. I'd say that's maybe a 50% or there. But my crust was too brown for my liking. I like it where it just melts in your mouth. Anyways, so that's done. I'm making macaroni and cheese. We got deviled eggs. They're being cooked in the pot there. When you do your eggs, put your eggs in a pot. Put it, cover at least 1 inch of water, of cold water. Turn the pot on. Bring it to boil, and then turn it off. Get it off the heat. Put a lid on it for 12 minutes. There's your boiled eggs. So I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you later. Now I am, oh shoot.
How many?
Just pour it in there. Okay, y'all. This is 3 bananas cut up in there. That's good. And then you just stir it up, and then you can stuff some on top to make it look pretty. So, this is the end of the banana pudding. Like I said, I let it cool a little bit, but it never sees the refrigerator until after I've eaten it. I don't like cold banana pudding. That's not Southern. So anyways, I have my lovely assistant helping. And if you want, you can put Cool Whip in there, but you know, to me that's just a waste of Cool Whip. And here is Jesse's biscuits, and my battery is going dead, so we will see you later. Let me see if there's enough battery. I'm making sweet potatoes, so I put some brown sugar and then some of our sorghum that we made, and I'll mix that up with some butter and pecans and put marshmallows on top. Oh, and apple pie filling. Talk to you later.